Well, we're here now with the captain of the boat that towed in the whale, and we're going to find out exactly why Captain George brought it here to Kings Point and how he got involved in it right from the beginning. Captain, what brings you in here to Kings Point tonight?
This fellow called me up from the whale researcher, and they asked me if I'd do it for him, and I told him yes, I'd give it a shot, take him out anyways. So anyway, we got things together, and they arrived, him and his buddy, and we left and went out some 40 miles northeast of Baccaloo. And sure enough, when we got there, the whale was there. This one was alive, pretty healthy. And got that one freed up, and off it goes its own merry way. And at the same time, we decided we'd retrieve the gear. Now we had the whale untangled and everything went well, and while we were retrieving the gear, there was a lot of strain came on it, a lot of weight. So we thought it was foul at the bottom. So we winched and we winched and we winched, and finally it broke loose, as we thought, And I was leaning over the rail there, just looking down like you would, to watch for the crab pots coming, right? And up comes this other whale. At the same time, I thought it was the one we just freed, because it was only a matter of minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was not. It was another. There was a second one there. And when this is a female, when it broke the surface, right, it just inflated the same thing as if you, within about 5 seconds, right, this thing was sitting about 8-10 feet, above the water level. So anyway, now what are we going to do now? This one is dead, right? So I calls up Coast Guard and asked them what should I do, And I'd leave, what to usually do, right, in a case like this, because really we were 25 miles exactly from Cape Fogle, and as you know, at that time of the year, September the 25th, there's a lot of tour hunting going on, and there was still some smaller boats like 3411s, 28-footers still fishing gill nets. And this was not a nice thing to leave out there, so I called them up anyway, and they said, well, make up your own mind. It was my decision, right, whether to bring it in or leave it out there. So at the same time, I spent about half an hour wondering what to do. So anyway, I made up my mind I'd tow it in, for the simple reason, I could go to bed with an easy mind, right, not wake up the next morning and turn on the radio and there tell somebody running into this thing and getting drowned, right? So that's what I done. I brought it in. So after I got it in, I guess it was sitting in this little remote area that I took it, which was about, I guess, a mile and a half, mile and a quarter from the community of Cobb's Arm on an island, where there's nobody lives now, it's just remote there. Right? We figured that was going to be its final resting place. Just put it there to decay, and the crabs and the lobsters have a good time, right? Mm-hmm. And just about when, boy, I guess it's about a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago, this fellow here in your community, David, I'm not sure of his surname. Are you?
Hayashida.
Yeah. He called me up and was interested into it. And I told him, yes, boy, if you want it, it's no problem, right? But then he had a problem getting it to this site. So as you know, they came and tried to do the job with it there, and it was unsuccessful. And then he wondered if I could tow it here. And I said, yes, boy, I'll give it a shot for you, So that's how we ended up here with this whale.
Now, must be a lot of work involved in getting this tied up and ready to tow. I guess you had quite a lot of help down there to get it ready?
Just the three of us, that's me and my two buddies that's there with me, right? One of the crew members and one of the crew members' father. It's almost like a voluntary thing, to you fellas, although there was a little charge, for the covered expense of the fuel and a bit of our time, right? But anyway, hopefully that it's all going to work out all right. We don't mind a little bit of overtime, right?
No,
somebody will benefit from it, maybe, right?
This whale sitting down there since September must be in a pretty decayed state. It's hard to get a look at it at night, but you should be able to tell us a little bit more what it looks like.
Well, it is decayed pretty good, but not like it would if it had been in July or August, right? I mean, in July or August now, this fellow Wayne there was telling me from the well research thing there that about a month, right? They're decayed, they're unmovable, like in one piece, right?
What story, when David called you, what was the story behind the reason he was so interested in?
He was interested like into the heritage, right, of and setting up a museum. I think he told me. I didn't ask him a whole lot about it, right. He said he was interested in the well for a project or something for his community. And I said, no problem, boy. You know, I just got no problems with that. I'll do what I can to help you, right?
Lucky whale for you?
It was something different, right? I've been fishing all my life ever since I was 13 years old, and it's something different, you know. Especially when I saw David, or not David, the guys from the whale research or whale release program or whatever. I'm not sure the exact term for it, right? To see how a whale behaves, like not this one here. Now, this one was drowned, but the one that we freed that was alive. Like how the crab gear was tangled into it, you know. This was offshore, like, and they're more used to doing in around cod traps and salmon nets and stuff like that years ago, you know, when the salmon fish was on the go, and I guess probably a few gill nets or whatever. So this was a bit of a different experience for them. And when this crab gear was on this live well, the one that was live, as you know, was tangled around the tail, right? There's about 200 fathoms of rope tangled around the tail. So the tail was drooped down like this. So there was no way that they could reach it in the little dinghy. You know, they only had a little Zodiac there, right? I don't know what she was, probably 12, 14 feet long, not very big rig, right? So what we did, we dropped the anchor from the bow of this one, drift down over, pulled up the rope, and then winched the whale in by the bow of this one. And you'd almost say, you know, that whale knew that we were there to help him, because he made one big smack with his tail, right? And that was due to where Wayne reached down. You know what it's like out there. You're up and down in the boat, and he was trying to cut the rope. And I guess he must have hit the flesh with his knife. And it made one big splash and snapped off a snatch block. You know, they're powerful animals, boy, I tell you. But, you know, it behaved, boy, like you wouldn't mind, like a human being, right? Just sat there until the knife hit the flesh, I suppose. It must have.
David must be quite pleased to see this intact there at the wharf.
Well, I'm really surprised after yesterday. I mean, it was some cold, but he hauled her up and got her. I mean, 16 hours, who'd believe it?
Now, that must have been a big task. Why go through a task like this to bring a whale here to Kings Point?
Well, it's basically, it's really part of a really big project that we're working on. This one's going to be for the Kings Point Museum, so I think it's going to be a great attraction for the town, and we're hoping it'll do a lot for the young people who are around and provide jobs and opportunities that they wouldn't have ordinarily. But it is part of an overall project that we're trying to do in the area and convince other towns to do the same kind of thing, and hopefully to create a whole miniature sort of museum tour of this area. And who knows, people come to Newfoundland, they'll be saying, I'll go to Grosse Morin and I'll come to Kings Point in this area as well.
Now, what's the plans? You're not going to leave this here in the water for the winter, are you?
No, it's still, this is really just the start. I mean, a lot of work's been done, but now we're starting, and we got to spend 2 or 3 or 4 days cutting her up and taking all the bones out. That'll be a big job, and we'll be looking for all the help we can get.
And you're going to be doing that right here on the shore, or you'll pick a place away from the houses?
Well, we'll probably try to pick a place across the bay at Southbrook Cove, but from looking at the bones, we're awful lucky that some of them are still there, so I'm a little worried about dragging her across. So we'll have to talk it out and see what's going to work for the best.
Thanks very much, Neil. Hopefully we'll see you when we start cutting it up.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We're so glad you took the time, especially on a weekend, to come down and do this at last minute. Thank you.
Thanks again.